Hello, my dear students. In our previous session, we were discussing chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones. Under that topic, totally we have to discuss 7 different types of chemical properties. Number 1, nucleophilic addition reactions. Second one, nucleophilic addition reaction followed by elimination of water. Third one, reduction reactions. Fourth, oxidation reactions. Fifth, halogenation reactions. Sixth one, reaction with alkalis. And the last one, seventh one, miscellaneous reactions. So in our previous session, we discussed the first two chemical properties. In today's discussion, we continue chemical properties topic and we will wind up all the chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones. So I welcome you all for today's session on the remaining 5 chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones. In that, number 1 is reduction of aldehydes and ketones. We can easily reduce the C double bond O group. Okay, so already we discussed because of the C double bond O, which is highly reactive carbonyl group, they show variety of chemical properties. So this C double bond O group can be easily reduced using reducing agents. So Li lithium reducing agents or the sodium reducing agents or the normal reducing. So using the variety of reducing agents which supply hydrogen to the reaction conditions. So C double bond O that bond is there, no? The C double bond O. So this group becomes what? Here we will add one H and other H here. So C double bond O becomes a CHOH. Already one H is there here. Now extra one H. So together it becomes CH2OH. That is shown here. Okay. So when aldehydes and ketones undergoes reduction, depend upon the functional group. They convert into either alcohol. Which alcohol? Primary or the secondary. Again depend upon the structure what it has. In the case of aldehyde, one H is there, no? So that gives you the primary alcohol. Whereas in the case of ketone, in place of H, there is one alkyl group. So because of that alkyl group, we get a secondary alcohol. Okay. So this is a slight difference between aldehydes and the ketones. Both gives alcohols. What type of alcohol? That depends upon what type of carbonyl compound you have taken. Aldehyde, primary. Ketone, secondary. That is shown here. Okay, first is what this is general reaction where C double bond O is becoming CHOH. Okay, CHOH. This is shown here. And if your aldehyde is the primary, if our carbonyl compound is aldehyde, we will get a primary alcohol. And if our carbonyl compound belongs to ketone, then we get what? Secondary alcohol. Okay, right. These are actual examples. Till now we discussed general example. Now these are actual examples. Aldehyde gives primary alcohol, whereas ketone gives secondary alcohol. Naming part I am leaving it to. Okay, so you please name it. Now I also told using some special reducing agents we can convert. Okay, a C double bond O into CH2. CH2 group is called as what? Methylene group. That means it is a hydrocarbon group. So using zinc mercury in HCl, we can convert C double bond O into CH2. That means using a suitable reducing agent such as zinc mercury in HCl, we are getting what? Hydrocarbons. Okay. Or if we can use hydrazine. What is hydrazine? Hydrazine is NH2NH2. From the ammonia formula is what? NH3. So from the ammonia, take out one hydrogen. What is left? Dash NH2. So in place of the dash, if one more NH2 is there, that compound is called as what? NH2NH2. That is called hydrazine. Its common name is what? Hydrazine. So if that hydrazine is made use, then we can convert first into the intermediate C double bond NNH2. Then because this C double bond NN is highly unstable, so N2 gas comes out, right? Then we make a CH2. Either you can convert a C double bond O directly to CH2 by using zinc mercury HCl combination or using the hydrazine you can go via. So what is via? Via is what? C double bond NNH2. That is reaction intermediate. They are called as reaction unstable species. Thereby, after the liberation of N2 gas, we create CH2 or we convert C double bond O into CH2. So in this way, our aim is what? In this reaction, our aim is to convert C double bond O into CH2. That means what? Carbonyl compounds are converting into what? Hydrocarbons. Okay, and this is the research work of two famous scientists. One is Clemmensen, other one is Wolf Kirchner. These two have done this research work. So accordingly, their name is kept. If it is zinc mercury HCl combination, it is the PhD work of what? Clemmensen. And if it is hydrazine combination, that is the research paper of what? Wolf and Kirchner. So both are reduction reactions of aldehydes and ketones. Only reaction conditions what? Changes the products. Clemmensen reduction examples. Okay. So zinc mercury combination along with HCl. Acetophenone, C double bond O becoming the CH2. CH2. Okay. So acetophenone to ethyl benzene. CH3 is as it is. Only this group became CH2. So CH3, CH2 is called as what? Ethyl. So ethyl group on the benzene is called as what? Ethyl benzene. The same way, benzaldehyde. This group is becoming CH2. Right? So already one H is there. Now it became CH2. So CH2 plus CH together become CH3 on benzene known as methyl benzene, popularly called as what? Toluene. Okay. So in this way, we can convert aldehydes, ketones into hydrocarbons by Clemmensen reduction reaction. Same. The in a previous examples was the aromatic. Now this is aliphatic. Okay, whether it is aliphatic or aromatic, using zinc mercury HCl combination, we will convert easily what? The C double bond O into CH2. Wolf Kirchner reduction. Here what? Using the hydrazine, going for unstable liberation of N2. Now creating the what? CH2. So CH already there. So this became CH2 plus H CH3. Here also C double bond O. Right. So this became CH2. Right. So in this way we can convert using the hydrazine into hydrocarbon. Famously called as Wolff-Kirchner reduction. Many times asked in the examination, especially board examination. I think 99% it is very important. Now, after understanding reduction reactions of aldehydes and ketones, now we will study oxidation reactions of aldehydes and ketones. Aldehydes, ketones, both are called carbonyl compounds. The main difference, the basic difference is C double bond O will have one extra H in the case of aldehydes. That H makes different. Okay, so because of the presence of one small H, the smallest atom H on carbonyl group, aldehydes show some different properties compared to ketones. So aldehydes and ketones both are called as carbonyl compounds, but difference is what? The whatever we see difference in the properties of aldehydes, it is because of what? That extra one H attached to the C double bond O. That H can be, you can easily abstract, or that H can be, you can convert into what? OH by supplying the O. So therefore, if you compare the reactivity of aldehydes and ketones towards oxidation, aldehydes are more easily prone to oxidation. That means aldehydes undergo readily oxidation compared to ketones, because in the ketones we don't have one extra free H, so it's very difficult to convert methyl group which is attached to carbonyl in the case of ketones to what? OH. That's why ketones will not show oxidation properties under normal conditions. If you want to go for oxidation of ketones, then you have to go for drastic, severe, extreme conditions using promoters, using catalyst, strong reaction conditions. Then only ketones undergoes oxidation. Otherwise, ketones are inert to oxidation reactions. So this property we make use in laboratory to distinguish between aldehydes and ketones. So in the laboratory, what they do? They give carbonyl compound, okay, by a teacher. Then he will ask the students, you check whether the given carbonyl compound is aldehyde or ketone. The best way is what? The best way is to carry out the oxidation reactions, because aldehydes, not leave about the strong oxidizing agent, with normal oxidizing agents they show oxidation, but this is not there with the ketones. So if the given carbonyl compound undergoes oxidation, then we can say the given carbonyl compound is aldehyde, otherwise no. So straight away we can conclude. So this is the best test to distinguish between aldehydes and the ketones. So now we will not go into in detail part of the oxidation of aldehydes and ketones. So we pinpoint where there are some 3 mild oxidizing agents. They are used in the laboratory to distinguish between aldehydes and the ketones. On that part we will highlight, okay, because these 3 mild oxidizing agents are very useful to differentiate between aldehydes and ketones, and that is done in the practical also, and that is asked in the examination also. That's why this topic is given top priority. Okay, so this is our normal oxidation to give carboxylic acid. So aldehydes upon oxidation becomes carboxylic acid. Okay, even with air, aldehydes are so reactive towards the oxidation. Even by air, if you supply air to the aldehydes, they convert into what? Corresponding the carboxylic acids. You see ketones. Ketones under normal conditions NR. What is NR? No reaction. Okay. So this difference in reactivity can be used to tell the difference between an aldehyde and ketone. Okay. By chance, if you want to go for oxidation of ketones, I told already extreme condition. Thereby, what happens in the case of oxidation of ketones is CC bond breaks. Okay. There it was C double bond O breaks, but here it is CC bond breaks. Okay. Now, how it breaks? First, you pinpoint on the carbonyl group C double bond O. Okay. If the given ketone is symmetrical, what is symmetrical? On the left and the right side of the C double bond O, if similar groups are there, okay, that is called symmetrical ketone. If around on the left and the right side of the C double bond O, if 2 different alkyl groups are there, that comes under the unsymmetrical ketone. So if we are using the symmetrical, then the C double bond O will go with this or this, immaterial, because both are same. Whereas in the case of unsymmetrical, where one side methyl, one side ethyl, one side ethyl, one side propyl, that time C double bond O will prefer with the smaller alkyl group. That rule we learn in the higher class under the mechanism of oxidation of ketones under the drastic conditions. Now time being, one example is taken here, taking the propanone or the acetone, we get methanoic acid or the formic acid and the ethanoic acid. Here we get acid with less number of carbon atoms compared to the parent ketone. In the parent ketone we have 3 carbon atoms, whereas in the products we have 1 and the 2. So lesser number of carbon atoms are there in the products. That is the important point you have to remember, and that you have to highlight in the examination. Okay, now we'll go for the laboratory test between aldehydes and ketones by using 3 mild oxidizing agents. Number 1, Toluene's test. Okay, so Toluen is a famous scientist. Okay, so he has done research work on this, and he is the one who has prepared this Toluene's reagent. How it is prepared, I will explain later. And he is from Germany. And here is the photo of this famous scientist. To salute him, Bernard Toluen, in the year from 1841 to 1918 from Germany. Okay, so this is what Toluene's reagent. A small portion of the Toluene's reagent is taken here because it is a complex compound. So that formula is not required for the 12th class. So small part of the Toluene's reagent is shown here with aldehyde. Okay, they undergo oxidation and becomes acid, and silver deposits back. So that means in the test tube you should take the aldehyde, add Toluene's reagent which is available in the laboratory. Immediately you get silver precipitates out. So you can easily clearly see the precipitation of the silver on the sides of the test tube. That confirms that the given carbonyl compound is aldehyde. Okay, right. Now this is the reaction involved in the Toluene's test, which is not there for our syllabus. Extra I gave you, okay. Now second test. Test number 1 was Toluene's test. Now second test is what? Fellings. So Fellings also a scientist. Here is Hermann Felling. Okay, he is also from German, right? So he prepared Felling's solution, and that Felling's solution, if you add to the aldehyde, that gives the red precipitate. So by adding Felling's solution to the carbonyl compound in the test tube, if you get red precipitate, that confirms the given carbonyl compound is aldehyde. Okay. Why it is red precipitate? It is because of the formation of what? Copper oxide, whose color is red. Now this is what Felling's solution, how it is prepared, not for your syllabus but for extra knowledge. This is called Felling's solution A, or number 1, and this is these two together, potassium sodium tartarate. So this is from tartaric acid. By adding the potassium and sodium salts, we get potassium sodium tartarate. Okay, so that is clubbed or added with what? Alkali sodium hydroxide. This mixture is called what? Felling solution B. This is Felling solution A, Felling solution B. Both are added, okay, in one test tube. So A and B, that becomes the main Felling solution. This is what? Main Felling's solution. Structure is very complex. This is used to check the presence of C double bond O as aldehyde. Okay, so just as a reference, you kindly go through this equation, but not there for examination. Aldehyde giving positive test for the Felling's test, whereas negative for ketones. But aromatic aldehydes do not respond to Felling's test, because aromatic aldehydes are aldehydes where we find aldehyde group on the benzene ring, and during the resonance structure between the carbon and the benzene ring, there is a creation of double bond. When the double bond is created, it is stronger than single bond. So rupturing double bond is difficult compared to a single bond. Therefore, this will not show respond to the Felling's test. Okay, right. 1 mark. Sometimes for 1 mark question, he may ask why aromatic aldehydes will not respond to the Felling's test. Now test number 3, Benedict's test. Okay, so Benedict is also a scientist. So here is a photograph of a Benedict, right? So actually this man, he prepared his reagent solution known as Benedict's solution. And what is Benedict's solution? It is almost same compared to what Felling solution. There it was sodium hydroxide in the tartarate. Here it is sodium carbonate in the citrate. A small difference, okay. So, but both will give the same result, red precipitate with aldehyde. Okay, right. So, this Benedict's is not there for a syllabus. It is, I have given once again extra knowledge. Same red PPT. All these are extra knowledge, and this is a complex Benedict's solution. So, kindly go through in the free time. Now, one more test given by the aldehyde. Which aldehyde? So, this test is given by such a aldehyde or such a carbonyl compound where we find CH3CO group. That means CH3 group attached to the C double bond O. So any compound, any carbonyl compound where we find methyl group attached to the C double bond O, those compounds are called as methyl ketones. So methyl ketones will give this reaction. For example, acetaldehyde. What is the formula? CH3CHO. How to write CHO? C double bond O, H. So C double bond O has link with what? CH3. That means acetaldehyde contains CH3CO group. So this acetaldehyde will give a haloform test, positive test. Now you take one more example. Propanone or acetone, where it contains CH3CO group. So this also will give positive test for haloform. That means any organic compound where you find methyl ketone group, that is CH3CO, those compounds will give positive test for haloform. Okay. So what is haloform? Haloform is, it's a compound. Halo, chloroform, bromoform, iodoform, fluoroform, CHCl3, CHBr3, CHI3, CHF3, all these are called in general halogen haloform. Okay, so if it is CHCl3, chloroform, if it is a CHBr3 bromine, bromoform. So depending upon which halogen is there, it is called that name is given. Okay, but in general it is called haloform reaction. Okay, among the haloform, it is the what, iodine, CHI3, iodoform. Its color is yellowish color, plus its odor is a highly peculiar pungent smell. Okay, and it has got antiseptic disinfectant nature. So because of all these extra qualities with CHI3, that is iodoform, so iodoform test we use to check whether the given organic compound is methyl ketone or not. Okay, why only iodoform? It is because of what? Its color and the odor. This odor, color, both we don't have with chloroform, with bromoform, or with the fluoroform. Only with iodoform we can distinguish on the color basis also, on the odor basis also. That's why among the haloform, it is iodoform which is very popular, and every time he will ask about the iodoform in the examination only. Okay, so once again I will repeat, haloform or the iodoform in particular, this test is given by organic compounds which contain CH3CO group, or any compound which contain CHOH group. After the oxidation, that CHOH will become the CH3CO. Okay, either directly CH3CO or a compound which contains CHOH upon oxidation which converts into CH3CO, then it will give the iodoform. Okay, so only these two class of compounds will give iodoform test. And one more specialty of this reaction is what? This reaction can be carried out without disturbing the carbon-carbon double bond if it is there. Okay, by chance, if our methyl ketone contains carbon-carbon double bond in the chain, so without disturbing the carbon-carbon double bond, it will only attack on the CH3CO group, methyl ketone. That's why it is the most popular reaction, that is the haloform or the iodoform, so which is used to check the methyl ketone group. Okay, right. This here, this is our methyl ketone. For this we require chlorine and the sodium hydroxide, which comes into sodium hypochlorite. Okay, actually what happens is, if you see the mechanism part, these three hydrogen are replaced by 3 chlorine, becomes what? A CCl3, and that becomes afterwards CHCl3 with this. Okay, so that mechanism part is not there for you. So directly what you do, you go for the preparation of a sodium hypochlorite, which is highly unstable, which we don't store in the laboratory. It is prepared on the spot. Okay, so whenever we require, whenever we want to conduct the haloform test, that time we prepare what, the sodium hypochlorite or the hypoiodite, anyone which is required on the spot by the combination of halogen and the alkali. Then with that prepared sodium hypohalite is added to the methyl ketone and to get the reaction. Okay, so such reactions are called as reactions in situ. In chemistry, we use some abbreviations, SITU. Situ means what? Situation. It is the short way of writing the situation. So depend upon the situation, we prepare that chemical, and that chemical immediately we use, because it is highly unstable chemical. But it is very important chemical to test the methyl ketone to carry out the haloform. Okay, so that what, unstable sodium hypohalite we get by the combination of halogen and the alkali. This is what with chlorine, this is what with iodine, iodoform. So acetophenone, which contains CH3CO with iodine with NaOH, gives, this is iodoform, yellow color, very pleasant, unpleasant smell. So but earlier this was used as a disinfectant. Okay, so because of this unpleasant odor, this is called hospital smell. No, normally we call it a hospital smell. Then sticky to the hand, then yellow color. So people are not using iodoform. Nowadays we have a variety of antiseptics and disinfectants available in the medicines. Okay, so it's a very old antiseptic now, but still in some hospitals, primary health center, they are using. Otherwise in specialist hospitals they avoid because of its unpleasant odor. Okay, right. Now you see, any compound which contain CHOH, okay, which can be easily oxidized to the CH3CO. Only those compounds will show the positive test for haloform. Okay, right. Now this is the one example I have shown here, how the sodium hypochlorite is prepared by the combination of chlorine and the sodium hydroxide. In the same way, sodium hypobromite, sodium hypoiodide, sodium hypofluorite is prepared on this spot. Okay, so which is required for the haloform test. Haloform test is it is a 10-star example from the exam point of view. Almost every year it will either in the 2 mark or 3 mark, sometimes in the 5 mark, along with some other questions it is asked. Okay, so it is a most likely question for the examination. Now iodoform. So the credit goes to these two scientists. Okay, so from America and from Austria. Okay, so they have done very wonderful work. Actually, he started the work, and his work was he continued with the especially iodoform. Okay, so it is because of the combination of these two scientists today iodoform has become so popular. Till today there is no reaction which can give best result for the methyl ketone. Okay, now next reaction, halogenation of aldehydes and ketones. Okay, so how we have carried out in the case of methane, we are replacing H by halogen. In the same way here also the hydrogen attached to the methyl in this area, so they can be easily H can be removed by the chlorine, and they are called as what, halogenation reactions of aldehydes and ketones. With aldehyde with ketone, examples are given here. Okay, now reaction with alkalis, popularly called as what, reaction due to alpha hydrogen. First we'll understand what is meant by alpha hydrogen. Okay, right. Carbon attached to the carbonyl group. Okay, carbon attached to the carbonyl group, that carbon is called as what, alpha carbon. And to that alpha carbon, if there are hydrogen atoms, they are called as alpha hydrogen. Okay, not other hydrogens. So it is the hydrogen atom attached to the alpha carbon. What is alpha carbon? Alpha carbon is the carbon attached to the C double bond O. So here I have shown clearly. So this carbon attached to the C double bond O. So this is called alpha carbon, and these hydrogens are called as alpha hydrogen. Okay, right. Now these alpha hydrogen, they have some special nature. They are acidic in nature. Why they are acidic in nature? What is meant by acidic in nature? Acids are the one which gives H easily. Here how these are given? Okay, so the C double bond O is there, no? So the C double bond O is highly powerful electron withdrawing group. So these electrons are taken by the O, thereby making the C positive. When the C becomes positive, then this bond will fall here to nullify the positive charge. If this bond falls here, then this becomes positive. If to nullify this positive charge, now this bond will fall, so that hydrogen is made free. Now you can easily take out this hydrogen. So because of this easily available hydrogen, these are called as what? Acidic hydrogen. Okay, so alpha hydrogen atoms which are there in the case of aldehydes and ketones, they are acidic in nature because they can be easily given because of this electron withdrawing nature of the carbonyl group. And after giving, whatever is formed, carbanion, that undergoes resonance here. See, that means even after giving also converting itself into carbanion, and that carbanion undergoes stabilization by resonance. It is shown here. So that means the hydrogen attached to the alpha carbon are removed easily because of what? C double bond O. That's why these alpha hydrogen atoms are called what? Acidic hydrogen. And this property we make use what? In the chemical properties of the aldehydes and the ketones. How? Please here. Now this is what? Acetaldehyde or ethanol. This is the alpha hydrogen. Okay. Now when two similar aldehydes undergoes a reaction, what happens? So this proton is taken by this carbonyl group. Here whether this proton goes or this proton goes, they take decision. Okay, because both are same aldehydes, So they go for the compromise. So one snatches the proton from the other one. Thereby they convert into what? This way, CH3, CH. Now this O is becoming what? OH. And CH2, CHO. This is the compound where we find two functional groups. One is aldehydic, other one is alcoholic. Because this compound contains both aldehyde and the alcohol, this is called as aldol in general. Okay. So aldols are formed because of what? Because of the acidic nature of the alpha hydrogen atoms. So I told the acidic nature of the alpha hydrogen atom is made use in preparation of what? Aldols. Aldol is a general word, but as per the IUPAC, it is called trihydroxybutanol. That you go using the 11th class knowledge. And this is highly unstable because it contains two aldehyde groups. So they undergo condensation, and after the elimination of water molecule, converts into what? CH3, CH, double bond, CHCHO. Aldehyde contains double bond called as enal. En for alkene, al for aldehyde. Together it is enal. Which enal? This enal contains 4 carbon atoms. So 4 means what? Butane family. So it is called butanol. Okay. So butanol is the aldol condensation product of the two aldehydes. Okay. These two are similar aldehydes. Here I have taken the two similar ketones. Same thing here we get what? Ketone as well as aldehyde ketol. But the correct name is what? Correct name is 4-hydroxy 4-methyl pentane 2-one ketol. So if you take two similar aldehydes, aldol. Two similar ketones, ketol. Again, after the condensation by the elimination of one water molecule, they convert into what? Aldol condensation product. Okay. So it is a double bond with ketone. See here it is enal, en plus al. This is en plus on, enone. Okay. So enal, aldol, enone, ketol. So it becomes only by practice. When two similar aldehydes undergoes enal, two similar ketones, enone, ketol and the aldol. So together this reaction is called what? Aldol condensation or the ketol condensation. This is also from exam point almost every year. Okay, because even from the 1978 when we were student, this aldol condensation is the syllabus is changed or not, but this is occurring almost every year. So aldol condensation is very important from the exam point of view, especially in the aldehydes and the ketones chapter. One is what? Methyl ketone, iodoform. Other one is aldol condensation. But here I have taken what? Two similar aldehydes. Now what happens when you take the two different aldehydes? That time here. Here I have taken two different aldehydes or two different ketones. Both contains alpha hydrogen. That time what happens here? In the reaction container, this aldehyde will react with itself, and this aldehyde will react with itself, and this aldehyde will react with this aldehyde, or these are permutation and combinations. So that means what? Here we don't get the exact products, mixture of products here. Okay. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 products are formed in the container, so which is very difficult to separate. That time you have to go for the boiling point, melting point, some other separation techniques. But in the previous case, what? Two similar aldehydes or two similar ketones will give the exact products. Okay, aldol or ketol. But here also we get aldol ketol only, but in the mixture form, which is very difficult to separate. That's why normally we don't follow this technique in the laboratory. Only those who are interested, they can go for the different aldehydes, different ketones, where we get a mixture of aldols and the mixture of ketols, and their corresponding aldol condensation products and the ketol condensation products. Such reactions are called what? Cross aldol condensation. That is a normal aldol. This is a cross aldol condensation. Okay, right. This is also what? Two different carbonyl compounds. One is aldehyde aromatic, one is ketone aromatic. So here also we get a mixture, but I have shown the only one product here. Okay, right. Now how to stop the reaction? How to stop the cross condensation? What you should do, don't take both aldehyde which contains alpha. You take one aldehyde with alpha, other one without alpha. Okay, so that time you can control the reaction easily. Otherwise, reaction continues and mixtures are formed. Then you have to go for again one more extra step, that is separation technique. If you want to stop out of two aldehyde, one must be without alpha. Yeah. Now chemical property number last, miscellaneous reactions. Under this we go for one more scientific reaction known as Cannizzaro reaction. This reaction is given by what? Given by aldehydes where we don't have the alpha hydrogen. So formaldehyde, benzaldehyde, they don't have alpha hydrogen. Okay. So when two similar aldehydes where we don't find alpha hydrogen, they undergo this reaction. Okay. Along with what? Alkali, either KOH or NaOH. What do you get here? We get alcohol, corresponding alcohol, and salts of carboxylic acid. Which salt? Which alkali you are using? If you are using sodium hydroxide, sodium salt. If you are using the potassium hydroxide, potassium salt. So depending upon the which alkali we are using, that salt carboxylic acid is formed along with alcohol. See, two similar aldehydes without alpha. Okay, one alcohol, one potassium salt of benzoic acid. Okay. Now here two similar, but here two different, but both are without alpha. So alcohol and the potassium salt of formic acid. Okay. So all these we get. This is famously called as what? Cannizzaro reaction. Cannizzaro reaction is the reaction between the aldehydes where we don't have the alpha hydrogen atom. Okay, right. Now one more miscellaneous electrophilic substitution reactions. Where there is a benzene, there is a ES reaction. Once again, I'll repeat. Okay, but here in this case, in which case, in the case of aromatic aldehydes and aromatic ketones, the ketone group and the aldehyde group on the benzene, I told they are powerful electron withdrawing. In earlier ES reactions, we found electrons movement was from the functional group to the benzene, but here electronic movement is from the benzene to the group, functional group. So because of this reverse movement of electron from the benzene towards the functional group, what happens here? Positive charge is created on the ortho and the para position. So when the positive charge is created on the ortho and the para position, what is an electrophile? Electrophile is also positive. So being a positive, electrophile not prefer ortho and the para. Why? Repulsion. Both are positive. That's why it prefers meta position. That's why in the case of ES reactions of aromatic aldehydes and the aromatic ketones, we expect meta products. This he will ask for the one more question. That's why what is the statement here? Statement is aromatic aldehydes and aromatic ketones are what? They are meta directing products, not the ortho and the para. So by deactivating the ortho and the para, they are activating the meta. That's why they are called the meta directing groups. See, accordingly, meta products are formed here, not ortho and the para. Same attraction, meta only, no ortho para. Okay. You can go through these slide where I have shown resonating structures of the benzaldehyde, where electronic movement is from the benzene to the carbonyl group. Thereby, we get a positive charge on the ortho and on the para. So where electrophile will not prefer being a positive, so we expect the meta. Okay, right. So my dear students, today we have discussed a lot, many examples, many scientist name examples, other property. So I think we are clear about the chemical properties of aldehydes and the ketones. But I agree that chemical reactions are highly evaporating. It is only by practice you will get it. Only which group is converting into what group, that basic principle you have to understand. Otherwise, it is very simple. So kindly go through all these reactions and keep practicing. Okay. So thank you, my dear students. But be curious. Okay. Our discussion will continue.